Bethany Mandel is the author of Stolen Youth. She joins me each week at this time. Good morning, Bethany. First, your reaction upon hearing that Sinwar had in fact been eliminated by the IDF.
It was incredible. I cried. It was a really beautiful moment that I hope I'm feeling a little less hopeful now on Monday than I was, when we found out, but I hope is the beginning of the end of the war. We'll see.
Okay, yesterday, Israel's Air Force took out every branch of Hezbollah's main bank, and they are going to keep it up because Hezbollah tried to kill Netanyahu and his wife. That is the difference between Sinwar being a terrorist and Netanyahu being the leader, democratically elected leader of a democratic country. How did you react to the attempt to kill Netanyahu and Sarah Netanyahu?
I don't think many people were surprised or that scared by it. Sinwar was a rat and he was running from building to building. Netanyahu has the infrastructure of an entire army behind him, reinforced buildings. Hezbollah can't get him, and I think it was honestly a laughable attempt. That's the difference between these two armies that are facing off. One actually has the firepower and the ability to protect what is worthy of protection, prime minister, civilians, whereas the other are just terrorists.
All right, now you have absolutely no way of knowing, and I have no way of knowing. I do know that somebody leaked from the American government to Iran the Israeli plans for a hit on Iran. It's almost impossible to believe that. Who do you suspect? You suspect a GS-5 or 4 somewhere in the Pentagon, or do you suspect someone on the National Security Council who just hates Israel?
Unfortunately, within the deep state, and this is something that President Trump needs to clean out a lot when he becomes president again in January, there are members of the deep state that are well-known haters of Israel, people who were founding members of Students for Justice in Palestine at Georgetown. There's unfortunately any number of culprits possible, suspects, because there are so many people who work within our security and defense and foreign relations apparatus who hate the state of Israel, who need to be gutted out.
Now, the three smart girls I talked to are you, Mary Catherine Ham, and my daughter. You're all the same age, you're all moms of 4 or more children, and you all have problems with Trump. And you've all told me about the problems with Trump. Do those pale now in comparison to the threat posed by Kamala Harris's vacuity?
Yeah, so it was interesting. Yesterday, I tweeted that I had a conversation at synagogue over this past week because it was a holiday. I had a conversation with a guy who said, as an American, I don't know how you vote for Trump, and as a Jew, I don't know how you vote for Kamala. And he's not a fan of Trump. There's a lot of people that are not, but I tweeted that, and I heard from two individuals who are very moderate. One of them I would consider liberal, and one of them lives in Israel now, and she said, I'm feeling this right now. I don't know how I can vote for Kamala knowing that someone within her administration would do something like this when it's a literal life and death situation for me living here in Israel. I I don't think I can vote for her. And if you look at the polling numbers of how American Jews are saying they're planning on voting, she's getting the lowest number of Jews basically in modern American history voting for her.
Do you think more will stay home or more will go in and vote for Trump? Of the demographic that deserts among supporters of Israel, I always say it that way because it's not just Jewish Americans, people like me who are not Jewish, who believe that the only democratic state in the Middle East and our ally needs support. Do you suppose that the defectors will primarily stay home, or will they go and pull the lever for Trump? Because we really actually needed to do the latter.
Yeah. So I don't know is the answer. This individual, I would be surprised if she voted for Trump, but I've been surprised by a lot of things. And I think she now realizes she can't vote for Kamala, and she, doesn't feel like she can't not vote. So I think she might vote for Trump for the sake of her own safety and security. And, for lots of American Jews also who have friends and family living in Israel, they understand it's a question of their safety and security. It's a life and death question. It's not, it's not a policy issue anymore. It's life or death.
It's also an issue of anti-Semitism in the United States. And I really do not believe a Kamala Harris Department of Justice or Department of Education will do anything about the attacks on Jews on American campuses. You're closer to this than I am. Have they continued at the pace they were in the late spring on Americans' campuses as colleges started up again?
Not yet, but I think, we saw under President Trump, he passed stuff long before there were issues on campuses. Title VI, Title IX, I don't remember which title, things on campuses to ensure the safety of Jewish American students that, Kamala Harris in comparison, when she was talking to a group of, well, she did two off the cuff moments. One of them was someone interrupted her rally, screaming about genocide, and she agreed with them. The person was removed, and she said, well, he has a point. And another individual screamed about Jesus is Lord, and she said, you're at the wrong rally. Those two off the cuff moments were really, really telling. When she finally got off the teleprompter who she is as a person, it's not good news.
Bethany, one of the things I'm going to ask J.D. Vance about today is COVID accountability. But before we go there, I want to play for you the moment that you referenced with the vice president at a rally in Milwaukee. It's in Madison, not Milwaukee. Cut number 6.
Right now, I know what you're speaking of. I want the ceasefire.
But what about the genocide?
I want the war to end.
What about the genocide?
And I respect your right to speak, but I am speaking right now.
Yeah!
So,
2,000 people dead. 19,000 children are dead. You better come on. 19,000 children are dead.
so listen, what he's talking about, it's real. And so that's not the subject that I came to discuss today, but it's real, and I respect his voice.
It is not real. Did we lose Bethany?
No,
Bethany,
I'm
you
here.
still with me? Okay, what did
I'm
you
here.
think of that?
It's real. What is real? Those numbers are absolutely figments of his fever dream imaginations. This is far from the first time that she has legitimized these blood libels against the Jewish state. It's obscene, and it honestly shows that she has such a lack of understanding about what has been happening. Ceasefire, ceasefire. Everyone keeps throwing around that phrase. She could have taken that moment to say, with the death of Sinwar, we do have an opportunity for the end of the war. Here's what needs to happen. Hamas needs to give up the rest of the hostages. They've been offered immunity to do so and a free ticket out of Gaza. There were so many things she could have said. Instead, she said, what he's talking about is real, and so far as talking about a genocide. It's absurd.
I'll close with this. If she had a staff, I don't know if she has a campaign staff. She didn't rehearse for Brett Baer. She wasn't ready for a simple question, how many people cross the border? And if she's not ready for the genocide challenge by now, and it's an absolute blood libel, as Bethany said, she's not ready to be president. Bethany Mandel, thank you for staying an extra couple minutes with me. I wanted your reaction to that. You have a great week, and I'll talk to you again next Monday.
Thanks.